Hola chicos, welcome to Spanish with Seva. Today we're going to deal with the verb gustar again. Somebody said that there might be a slightly alternative way. One of my students said that there might be a slightly alternative way to explain the difficulty of gustar. And so I'm trying one more time. Let's see if this alternative version will be any better than the previous ones. So I know this is the verb that occasionally causes some distress. So let's look at it a slightly different way. So the verb gustar in itself in Spanish means to be pleasing or to be appealing or to please or to appeal. In no case you can translate it grammatically as gustar, as to like, because it is not to like, it is to please. The difference is fundamental. If you say, I like the apple, who is doing something? It's you. What are you doing? You are liking it. You like the apple. If it's pleasing, it is not you. It's the apple is pleasing to you. Fundamental difference. So please look at it that way. Let's take a look. There are two main groups of verbs, the same in English and in Spanish. To drink, to eat, to read, to want, to love, all of them will be used with the subject pronoun. I drink, I eat, I read, I want, I love. Make sense? So these are the subject pronouns. And to like in English belongs to that group. So you are going to use in Spanish the subject pronouns. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ustedes, ellos. There is another group of verbs in Spanish and in English. To please, to fascinate, to interest, to amaze. And in this case, you do not use the subject pronouns in English because you don't say I please apples, I fascinate to travel, I interest to read, and I amaze animals. You say the other way around. You're using the object pronouns. You say the apples are pleasing to me. To travel is fascinating to me. It interests me to read books. The animals amaze me. And in this case, you are using the object pronouns me in Spanish, to me, te in Spanish, to you, le in Spanish, to him, to her, to you, sir, madam, to us, to you plural, and to them, less. So, note, if this one was I, you, she, he, you, sir, you, madam, we, y'all, you all, they. In this case, it will be to me, to you, to him, to her, to us, to you plural, to them. And gustar in Spanish belongs to this group and not to the first one, hence the confusion. So note, if something in a sentence answers to the question who or what, that will be the subject because that who or what does something. Likes, eats, reads, wants, loves. If it answers to the question to whom, to what, then it is the indirect object, not the subject, and it will be the indirect object that answers to the question pleasing to whom, fascinating to whom, interesting to whom, to amazes whom. Note that that is the fundamental difference. All right. Let's see here the example. We have a raton, a mouse. And if you see the sentence like that, I like cheese. Some people, not all, but some, immediately say, oh, I know how to say you say it yo. The verb gustar conjugates like other verbs, so you say yo gusto. Is it correct? Grammatically speaking, it is correct. Yo gusto, it means I please. Cheese. Does it make sense though? It does not make sense at all because you're not pleasing cheese. The cheese is pleasing to you. So note that this way of dealing with it is fundamentally wrong. What do you need to do in order to translate I like cheese? You need to do the following. The first, you change it into cheese is pleasing to me. Now the relationship between the subject and the object is correct. Cheese is pleasing to me. In Spanish is el queso me gusta. El queso. You substitute cheese for the cheese. Why? Because in Spanish, if it's a general concept, you do use the definite article, unlike in English. All right, now it is incorrect but awkward Spanish version. And then you put it into a normal Spanish word order, which is me gusta el queso. Me, indirect object pronoun. Gusta, the normal conjugation of third person singular, because queso is in Spanish he. Remember, there's no it in Spanish. Everything is either he or she. El queso, because of the masculine article, it kind of implies that. It ends on o, it kind of implies that too. So it is a masculine singular noun. Me gusta el queso. Literally, to me is pleasing the cheese. It is awkward and yet it is completely correct. These are the indirect object pronouns that need to be memorized in order to deal with the verb gustar. Note that the verb gustar, in a way, it is a normal verb, it conjugates, but it doesn't mean to like. It doesn't mean to like. It means to please. It means I please, you please, he, she pleases. It pleases as well in English, because in Spanish it will be he or she. Usted, which is you, sir, you, madam, please. We please, gustamos. You, plural, gustáis, which is used only in Spain with that ending, you remember that. And gustan, which will be the plural, you and they. All right. Let's take a look here. You have here, I like tacos. What do you do first? You change the word order. The tacos are pleasing to me. Remember, you're not the subject anymore. You don't do anything. Who does something? The tacos. Here, you are the subject. You do something. What do? You do the liking. Here, the tacos are the subject. What do? They are pleasing. That is the key element of that verb. Los tacos me gustan. You put it in the awkward but correct grammatical construction, but awkward word order in Spanish. Los tacos me gustan. Then you put it into a normal Spanish word order, and it will be me gustan los tacos. Let's do one more. Please take a look at those steps and make sure that you're comfortable doing that a few times. Can you do now the same operation for the las peras and for the las manzanas? Can you do it for a singular pera or for a singular manzana? Make sure you can repeat the same 1, 2, 3, 4 operation consisting of 2 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please do it. See if it's correct. If it's easy for you, it means you're done. If not, you need to work on it a little bit more. Let's take a look here. The apples are pleasing to me. Las manzanas me gustan las manzanas. So that's how you deal with it. And remember, you are using the indirect object pronouns that need to be memorized right here. The same will be here. The pears are pleasing to you. Las peras te gustan. Indirect object pronoun, te gustan las peras. Okay? The subject of gustar can be a noun or it can be a verb. For example, you could say the cats are fascinating to me, or to travel fascinates me. Both cases you use the indirect object pronoun. If it is a verb or verbs in infinitive, then the subject is singular. Just like in English, you say it fascinates me, singular, to travel and to sing. It fascinates me to read. All right, so I hope this explanation was useful to you, and I hope you can ask me questions if you need to. Please write to me. Otherwise, I'm going to record another alternative version of Gustar in a few days. I hope it was useful to you. Okay. This is the last thing to look at. It is the comparison between the subject pronouns I versus object pronouns to me, and so forth. So please make sure that you comprehend the difference between the two, as to like will use this construction with I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and Gustar will definitely use this construction with to me, to you, to him, to her, to it, to us, to them. Okay? Thank you. Stay tuned. Ciao. Let's go.